boys.
Man. Yeah, let's zoom through this thing, y'all. Let's zoom through this thing. All right, I'm ready.
So guys, Certified Lover Boy came out this weekend. Nnamdi, I know you appreciate a good album rollout. And in the days leading up to it, we saw billboards popping up in different cities announcing which rappers from that city are going to be appearing on the album. I found that quite creative. How'd you feel?
No, you know, Drake made me smile with that one. I thought that was a very creative way to do it. I liked how he kept kind of ominous in some cities. Like I loved how New York's was, hey, the GOAT is on air. Everyone knew it was Jay-Z, but I just loved that people were debating. Drake is really good at being the conversation starter and not putting in a lot of work to be the conversation starter, you know? Versus the gentleman we'll be discussing today, I don't think is mastered that talent. I love Kanye though, but
this guy, yeah, man, Drake, along with Drake and Tyler had the best album rollouts this year. Because Tyler, Tyler.
I'm not okay. It wasn't that good. Why y'all be gassing Drake?
Oh, what? Okay.
That was good.
No, he did billboards, which was cool, but I'm not saying the billboards is the same as Tyler the Creator's thing. Like, hold on. Time out. It's always the best of this. I'm not even a hater. I'm just saying.
Nah, that's not like hating. Okay,
it's not even hate. It's just that that was it.
Hold up. Time out.
Rollout of the year.
Time out. I didn't say it was the best. I'm saying those are some of my favorites. I didn't say it's the best. I said Tyler's rollout I thought was amazing. I thought it was great.
This just feels like the perfect precursor to the debate I know we're gonna have on the album. It's like the bar for Kanye and Drake is so different. Kanye gave you 3 stadium listening tours, and that gets nothing. Drake put up a couple of billboards, best rollout up there with Tyler.
Avery,
you were frustrated by the end of Kanye's.
Oh, I was. I wrote a newsletter.
Exactly. How about that newsletter?
But that's not what my point is. My point remains is just like we have different expectations for them, and I'm tired of the bar for Drake being set as low as it is. We'll get into that later. Next,
I don't think
we'll
do
it.
But
I don't think it's low. I just don't think it's as high as Drake calls himself the GOAT. He's one of the GOATs of our generation right now. Drake is at the top of rap.
Nnamdi is going to turn me into a Drake stan.
Is not the same as the bar for everyone
else. I don't want to be this. I don't want to live this life. I just am.
Nnamdi, I'm a Drake fan, but you're going to turn me into a Drake stan. You're going to make me defend this.
I know.
That's how I feel.
I want y'all to always remember, I'm only this critical of Drake because I am a Drake fan. I am a Drake fan. I mean, I was listening to Drake. Drake came up when we was in elementary school. Like I was listening to Drake when LimeWire was a thing. Like I'm a Drake fan. We've been around.
Take it back.
We have seen Drake in all of his phases. From Take Care, Nothing Was the Same to Views. We've seen when Drake became commercially huge and stopped really trying to push the boundaries like he did before. We've seen Drake play with different sounds. I just want more from him. And I think he can give us more. And I just feel like he won't if we keep on being fine.
Don't give all the goods. Don't give all the goods before the podcast.
I know, but y'all, we started. We're recording. Y'all, if y'all can't tell, this is a Friday night, 10 p.m. recording. We're having a good time on the pod. We're each sipping on a little something. So this is just unfiltered
orange,
the true feeling.
Orange juice.
And if any of our corporate sponsors are listening to this specific episode, we're only sipping orange juice.
Orange juice, man.
This thing on my head, it's a hat. It's not a do-rag. I don't want you to worry.
It's a special limited edition hat. Edition hat.
It's one of those hats without the brim.
Of course.
There you go. Exactly. So there you go. So,
but stay tuned for more of my takes with that Drake review probably next week.
That's gonna be a fun one.
We have a newsletter.
Oh, we do. We do have the 97 Demo newsletter, fresh off the press, second week in session, where we just talk about everything and anything in music. This week's was about sort of Lorde in our review, which we sort of hinted to, but it was really about Kanye, inspired a little bit. My piece was, at least, I wrote about how I just think Kanye is kind of insecure about his music, and he shouldn't be. I don't think he's as confident when he releases music as Drake is, and I don't understand why. You're Kanye West.
Yeah,
that was my thing.
I wrote about long albums. If you've listened to this podcast, you hear my gripes with long albums. So with Kanye releasing this long ass album, yes, I said it, long ass album. I wrote about long albums, and I got really specific. I talk about why I don't like them. I talk about the reason people make long albums. I told you what's the perfect album length. So That's what I wrote about. What about you, Avery?
Yeah, I wrote about kind of this trend I've been noticing with these newer pop stars, these newer pop gals, or kind of like going against the stream, I guess you should say, in terms of not embracing what you would traditionally think of a pop star. You know, they're not everywhere after an album comes out. They kind of drop an album and dip. You know what I mean? They disappear.
Yeah.
The Beyonce method. You know what I mean? So.
You know, can I say, Avery, I love the fact that like where our articles are placed, because I feel like it's the perfect foil. Like we have one about this like sort of egomaniac pop star who like he hurts himself sometimes, like he makes his own problems, and like by the end of it you get to this story about how the new generation of a pop star isn't going to do all the shit that like this old guy did, you know, the older generation did.
Yeah.
But I love our newsletter. I love our newsletter. People who read our newsletter love it. I hope you all listening will check out our newsletter. You can find it on all of our socials at the 97 Demo. I'm pretty sure you can find it on Substack at the97demo.substack.com. Subscribe. Let us know what you think. Check it out. And in the meantime, welcome to the 97 Demo podcast, where we give you the latest in music news, and a whole bunch along the way. I'm Nnamdi.
I'm Noah McGee.
I'm Avery. Wow.
I did that just to spite Nnamdi, just to spite him.
Wait, no, what's the meme?
a little, you know, a little.
Our YouTube watchers will get a little treat with what, you know, with the little action we did. The audio people have no idea that I just look stupid. But y'all, we have so much on top of this episode. We're gonna review Donda, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, we got some headlines for you. The first of which is a doozy. DaBaby has officially begun his redemption arc. In case you forgot, he went to Rolling Loud Miami, said some pretty bad things for no reason, completely unprovoked.
Listen to that episode with Baby Spider. We had a lot to say.
Yes.
That was a great episode. A lot of people listened. A lot of people watched. So thank you for that. That was a lot of great conversation. It was great. But episode 54.
I love when we plug ourselves on while we're recording our episodes. It's my favorite thing.
Come on now.
But DaBaby, of course, one of the more controversial things he said had to do with HIV/AIDS. I believe he literally told people in the audience to put a light in the air if they don't have HIV/AIDS. And I'm only laughing because of how ridiculous the entire thing is when you say it out loud. Like, what possessed you to do this? Sorry. But you know, after posting an apology, deleting it, all that controversy, DaBaby is now meeting with 9 HIV awareness organizations. He's apologized for his inaccurate and hurtful comments. And the thing about this, before we even get to the details, is this was all anyone was asking him to do when that controversy was actually happening. And you can tell my theory, right, is he was stubborn because he didn't think he had to. Then he saw how quickly those streams stopped coming in. When I saw that he was removed from Levitating, I know that has to hurt because it has to be one of his biggest singles. Like
he was removed from more festival shows, like
removed from festival
Day
shows
in Vegas.
He almost got removed from Donda.
Yeah, Donda. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
More on DaBaby later.
More on DaBaby later, but I mean, this is.
Scroll down. Do they say what the orgs are? What his specific state? Wait, DaBaby. What was the pre-update? Hold on, hold on. They did an update. This is officially so he's met with 9 organizations to discuss HIV facts and share personal stories of living and thriving with HIV. We love it. It comes after a firestorm where we were aware. But in a statement on Tuesday, the organization wrote, "The open letter to DaBaby was our way to extend him the same grace each of us would hope for." Oh, did they write him a letter?
Yeah, I guess they wrote an open letter to DaBaby on August 4th.
Oh,
and he called for a meeting.
No.
They called
organizations. Oh, that kind of changes how I feel about this. So the organizations wrote DaBaby a letter asking for a meeting after he made these controversial remarks, and he just accepted. I now feel differently about this. I'm not gonna lie, this is a twinge. Because it was one thing when I thought he put the effort into meeting with these groups, knowing that they invited him and he just went, which kind of changes it for me. Either way.
It does.
But either way, hey, if Morgan Wallen got out of his storm by saying I met with a couple black that's not what he said. I met with amazing organizations that cater to black people.
Yeah, along those lines. Yeah.
If that helped him out, then hey, DaBaby, I hope you actually learned something. My biggest thing with this is he's not going to get canceled. I just hope he can take this experience and realize that he needs to treat all of his fans a little bit better. and not just the ones that he thinks will be fine with comments like that. You know,
based on his Donda verse, I'm assuming he didn't learn much, but.
Oh my God, we'll get into that.
Well, I guarantee you, he'll never go to a show and yell, "Put your phone light in the ear of X, Y, and Z." You know,
don't risk COVID to see
hard.
Yeah. This is interesting because we actually did an episode on Super Bowl halftime shows back in February. If you guys want to check that out.
Wait, no, you don't have a number. You don't have a number ready.
Heated episode.
No, don't worry. You keep on talking, and I'll find the episode number. I'll give you the assist.
Yeah, we had a heated episode.
Episode 31.
Halftime.
We did argue a lot about that ranking.
That one lasted days after too.
Yeah, that was like, yo, I can't believe you said this.
Yeah.
Y'all put Katy Perry at like number 2, and I'm still sorry. Let's go. Keep on going. That's not the point.
Okay, lasted months later.
Yeah. This is cool. Weeknd doing a Super Bowl halftime performance, Showtime documentary. The thing is, I think it's fine because this is just normal for artists to have documentaries and like camera crews ready for like some doc on anything. But although I think looking back, the show was fine. It wasn't like, I didn't think it was bad. The show was fine. But this one, it felt like usually these documentaries are for like something monumental. Like, the Beyonce Homecoming was like a monumental, like, where were you when that happened? Type thing. Like people who don't even like Beyonce were like, my mom was like, yo, are you watching this? Like, what is happening? This wasn't that type of thing. I mean, people watch it because it's the freaking Super Bowl. Everybody watches that, but like, was it monumental? Yeah. Did it deserve a documentary? Not really, but I'm not mad about it. How y'all feel?
It'll be on Showtime, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. I probably won't watch, but
I think a little bit of me thought this was a documentary about the Weeknd's rise that would include the Super Bowl performance.
No, this is like about
I'm realizing the documentary is just about the Super Bowl performance.
By itself.
Why do I need this?
We don't.
Why?
We don't.
It was a show that was fine. Even this is me. Y'all know I'm a Weeknd fan, a huge fan.
Yeah,
Y'all know I love After Hours.
We're all Weeknd fans here.
We all are, absolutely. But why do we need this?
We don't.
Not sure.
Abel, like I just think if I'm getting a Weeknd documentary, I want something more substantial than telling me about this Super Bowl show that he did during the pandemic year for the amazing album. But
the show was good, not great. The show was good, not great.
The show was good. We had it.
It happened.
I don't know if I need a documentary about it. But I mean, I'm not going to support his hustle. Like, if this is what he wants to do, says we're in store for a unique glimpse into the passion, work, and cinematic mindset that went into the creation of the show. Sure, it was a theatric show. Maybe that'll be a good thing.
There were memes that came out of it.
There were memes.
So
yeah, great show.
I just would love. I'm sorry, I don't want to harp on this. I just would rather them show me something where I get to see the evolution of the Weeknd, because that's interesting, right? The fact that the Weeknd is this now, compared to anyone who knows how he was when like House of Balloons was
a decade ago.
That evolution, give me a documentary. I'll watch it.
Yeah, who would have thought he would have been one of the biggest pop stars in the world?
Who would have thought?
This dude went from making mood R&B to being a pop sensation.
A pop star. That would have been interesting. But just the show.
Star.
I'm still going to watch it. I'm doing all this talking. I'm still going to watch it.
Yeah, I'm still going to watch it. So do your thing, Weeknd. So let's get it.
Y'all, so I realized, y'all know, last year we normally do, whenever there's big award shows, we'll talk about
kind of guess. We'll guess.
We didn't do that. So now I want us to vote. The VMAs are by the time this episode comes out, this Sunday is the VMAs. Doja Cat is hosting. I want us to vote. No, Avery, go to the top. It's 10 categories. We're gonna do this really quick.
Okay.
As a team, we'll fight. It's okay. 10 minutes. The maximum given us is 5 minutes, so we're rushing through this. Best New Artist, the nominees were 24K Golden, Giveon, The Kid Laroi, Olivia Rodrigo, Polo G, Sweetie. Olivia Rodrigo, right?
Yes.
I love Giveon, but we don't really have a check.
Okay, let's hypothetically cast.
Okay, then we'll keep on going. Group of the Year: Blackpink, BTS, Cinco, Foo Fighters, Jonas Brothers, Maroon 5, Silk Sonic, 21 Pilot.
Silk Sonic doesn't get it because they haven't released the album. So
I'm going to BTS.
BTS.
They've done that. They've worked.
Song of the Summer.
Song of the Summer. Happier Than Ever, Billie Eilish. Oh God. Butter, BTS. Don't Go Yet, Camila Cabello. Levitating, Dua Lipa. Need to Know, Doja Cat. Every Chance I Get, DJ Khaled. Bad Habits, Ed Sheeran, Heartbreak Anniversary, Giveon, Peaches, Justin Bieber, Stay, The Kid Laroi. There's a lot of these. Wow.
so
Industry
many.
Baby, Lil Nas X, Rumors, Lizzo, Thought, Shit, Meg Thee Stallion, Wild Side, Normani, Good For You, Olivia Rodrigo, Summer of Love, Shawn Mendes.
I'm voting Butter.
I'm not
I'm
going
voting
Olivia
Butter.
Rodrigo. Oh, Dua Lipa, Levitating. This song-
Levitating came out last year.
Wait. Happier Than Ever is so good.
It's an amazing
Levitating
song.
did not get its due last year.
I agree, but Butter.
But
has
now I'm
been
like, it's a new year.
But
so
Butter,
I'm like,
but
That's
Butter
the
was
song
number
they
one.
played after I graduated, after I walked the stage at college.
yeah.
True. But Butter,
I may
Butter
have
has
to say
been.
Butter because it was.
Butter was number one.
the
Yeah,
song-
Butter
the
was the song of the summer. And
Technically,
Megan,
yes.
and Megan was on it. Like, come on, let's stop it.
Fine.
Okay, you know,
Butter.
I may do. So I think on the 97 demo vote is Butter.
Butter.
Avery.
The Avery vote is Levitating.
Oh, this. He's voted out 2-1. Let's
Okay,
go
what's
down.
the next category? We're almost halfway done. Video of the year. WAP, Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Pop Star DJ Khaled, Kiss Me More, Doja Cat, Save Your Tears, The Weeknd, Montero, Lil Nas X,
Ooh.
Bad Habits, Ed Sheeran. WAP, right?
Yeah,
It has
Let's
to
go
be.
WAP.
WAP.
Yeah.
WAP. You got
That was
WAP.
too
WAP.
much of a moment.
WAP caused too much of a stir within this friend group.
Artist of the Year, Ariana Grande, Doja Cat, Justin Bieber, Meg Thee Stallion, Olivia Rodrigo, Taylor Swift.
Part of me wants to say Taylor because she's been quiet and been killing everybody essentially still.
I'm done letting Taylor win. No.
But I know,
okay?
but she's too popular. But
She's too
Has to be
powerful.
Cardi
Olivia
was-
then.
I want to
Probably
say
Olivia.
Doja.
I kind of want to say Olivia still again.
Yeah, I still gotta go Olivia.
I want to say Doja's
Doja's there, but
Olivia.
Olivia's on a level like above her. Like Doja's been steady, but
because the
but
driver's license is huge.
absolutely,
Okay, if I'm
and the
not
album
voted,
was
I'm not
huge.
doing this. I would say Doja, but Avery, are you saying Olivia?
Yeah, I'm saying Olivia.
So the
I'm saying
97
Olivia.
votes for Olivia Rodrigo.
Song of the year.
We have Mood, Leave the Door Open, Dynamite, Driver's License, Levitating, WAP.
Gotta go Levitating again. I'm sorry.
I would give this Levitating.
I'll give it
honestly, I kind of want to leave the door open, but
I want to say leave the door open, but I'm still mad at them.
No, wait.
So they're
I
not
wanna
getting
say
nothing till the album
driver's
come out.
license. Driver's license
Oh,
is huge.
No, driver's license was a sensation. I'm actually gonna go
And
driver's
the
license.
lyric, if Song of the Year like Grammys is lyrics, I think I'm going driver's license.
I'm going driver's license because that was a sensation, and the song's actually amazing.
Okay,
That's
so I guess as a group,
year.
as a collective, we're going driver's license. But again, my vote is for
Wow, leave the door open. Silk Sonic would be so mad at us. So like all that stuff. Wait, how
We
many
want
more? I
the-
thought there was 10 categories. How many more categories are there? Sorry, you just scroll.
What is this? This doesn't
Skip this
matter.
one. Skip this one. We don't.
doesn't
Shout out to the push performers.
Collaboration.
Let's do these last four, okay? Last
That's
four.
hip hop.
I think that's it.
hip-hop.
Oh,
best
that's
hip-hop.
not it. Jesus, I thought there was 10 of these. I'm sorry. I didn't know we were in for a show. Best hip hop, WAP, Laugh Now, Cry Later, On Me remix, Said Some, Rap Star franchise. Ooh.
Laugh now, cry later.
I knew y'all were gonna do that. I want to give it to Said Some.
Said some. I haven't even listened to that song. So go
Laugh now,
The
cry later.
disrespect for Moneybag, yo. Okay, Laugh Now, Cry Later. So next
Okay,
one.
are there any others here we want to do?
Can we do best collaboration?
Yes.
WAP, Mood, Kiss Me More, Prisoner, Peaches, Laugh Now, Cry Later. Ooh, WAP.
Ooh.
I gotta go WAP.
Kiss Me More.
I was almost saying kiss me more, but I think I'm gonna go WAP. I'm gonna be partial to
Yeah,
WAP. So
Kiss Me More is so good though. But
Laugh Now,
I
Cry
hate
Later.
that.
Laugh now, cry later wasn't even a collaboration because Dirk was on the song for 10 seconds,
Yeah,
literally
that is really-
counting.
I really hate Justin Bieber for making me not be able to love Peaches as much as I want to love Peaches.
We reviewed that album, Justice, also episode.
I think we
Yeah,
should be
we're good. I don't think we need to do it this much.
Hey,
Epis-
I think we're done with the VMAs. I didn't know what
Okay.
I was watching, but everyone go vote. That's happening. I think it'll be a good show. We'll find out if any of our predictions were right. But Doja Cat's hosting. Are y'all excited about that? Y'all think
That's
sounds
interesting
good?
because usually they don't have like an artist who's like
She's
There.
really funny. She's
Like,
Yeah.
you know, that's like if Leonardo DiCaprio was like nominated for Best Actor and he was hosting it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
That's
she's
interesting.
nominated for quite a bit. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
definitely
interesting.
She's really.
I wonder
funny,
who's getting
so-
their icon award. They always do some kind of icon award.
Yeah, the
Last year was
Vanguard
Lady
Award, right?
Gaga.
Vanguard
Who?
Award, yeah.
The Vanguard Award.
They changed the name. Last year was the Tricon Award. This year I think is the Icon Award. I don't really know.
Cool
But
names.
I don't
New
remember
releases though. New releases though, fellas.
I don't really
and
remember who's doing that, but we'll stay and watch the VMAs and we'll find
We
out.
will. We
new
will.
releases is happening. Let's get to new releases.
Anything big
And-
come out this weekend?
Yeah, something by this artist named Aubrey Drake Graham. You know, he's kind of big artist from Toronto. You know, he's coming up. He's on
I
the
haven't heard of
grassy.
him.
He got shot on the grassy. He couldn't walk anymore. He was in a wheelchair on the show.
Of course,
You know,
of course.
for my people that love Degrassi.
Is he that guy that sits courtside at Raptors games?
No, the guy who sits courtside at Sierra Canyon games.
Okay,
Sierra
cool.
Canyon.
Done with this. It's
Sierra
great.
Canyon's like Magic City. The Sierra Canyon parking lot's like Magic City now. You know
Ain't
what I'm saying?
Sierra
So, like,
Canyon just the basketball team of Bishop Sycamore anyway?
oh, you funny guy. New releases, guys. Certified Lover Boy, Drake.
Finally.
We're not gonna talk too much about it. We argued about Drake in the beginning about his, about his rollout, but we're not gonna talk too much about the album. But we're gonna review that next week. But
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah. So CLB, Drake, it's coming. Don't worry. But some other cool releases. Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy. I don't really care. But
he said
Phineas,
there was a Kanye diss on that. I wonder if that.
Probably. Who cares? Phineas released a track for his album that's coming out in October. Nnamdi, I know you're a big fan. That was one of your favorite projects last year.
Guy, yeah.
JPEG Mafia.
Anna Ross put something out. Okay.
Yeah, JPEG Mafia released something. Charlie XCX. Avery's a big fan.
Great.
Exactly.
Great music video.
So some artists that we really enjoy.
ABBA released their first songs in 40 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do y'all feel about these new releases, guys? What's up?
I feel like you went through all of them, kind of, all the big ones.
Who's favorite other than the Drake album? Who was your standout here?
I'm not even on cap. I really have only listened to Kanye West and Drake, and I'm normally the one who gets on us about listening to more music, so we know about, so we can talk during new releases. I was on those two. I'm gonna check out Donna Chromatica. If you listen to this, you know that I mess with Lady Gaga. Looking forward to see what she does. I'll listen to the Kanye diss on Soulja Boy's album. And I'm sure this Georgia Smith song was great. This Sasha Keeble feat Georgia Smith. I'm sure that hit.
Yeah, Georgia Smith still had one of my favorite projects this year. So shout out to Georgia. Follow me back.
Avery, what do you like?
This Genevieve album. This is R&B, like poppy R&B album.
Really?
She came out with a single called Baby Powder back in March of 2020, and it's amazing. And ever since then, I've been wanting an album. And so here we are in September, and we finally got one, and it's good.
Is this something you think we'll like?
I think so. I mean, it's like poppy R&B. So
is she black?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm gonna listen to this.
Florida.
Dope.
She's great. I'm a big fan.
One album. Oh, thank God. Don't y'all love when you find new artists? It's not like 30 albums. It's only 2 or 3.
She's on our class playlists. So like she's been on our playlists.
Dope. So I'm gonna give that a listen.
Y'all check out the 97 Demo playlist too.
Yeah,
it's our podcast over the last year.
Rated
MX. It's great.
Yeah.
No, anything else to shout out?
Man, none crazy. This JPEG Mafia I listened to. It was good. JPEG Mafia is a good artist. I mean, he had a great feature on the Brockhampton album. We forgot that came out this year too. Still a great album. He had a great verse on there. So, that's what I'm excited for. Nothing crazy. I mean, I listened to Drake, so that's kind of been taking up my time. I mean, it came out last night. I stayed up till 2 a.m. to listen to it.
I can't believe y'all stayed up in the morning for Drake.
Well, the thing is,
I thought I went to bed at 10 p.m.
The thing
is, had a nice little nap.
Drake is a liar because he said the album's gonna come out 2 a.m. Eastern. So I live in the Midwest. So I was like 1 a.m. Central.
It came out at 12:20.
It came out 12:20 Central. So it came out in the
middle.
I
was sitting there texting each other, and be like, "Are you gonna listen?"
He's like, "Yeah." I set an alarm, and Avery's like, "It's out." So I was like, "Oh shoot!" So we sat there, press play. Live text over the album. We reviewed each track or our text messages, and we had a fun time with Twitter, which was up all night talking about CLB. So get ready for that review next week. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we have something special. We have a big artist in his own right, a legend in his own, I would say. Legend, right?
Gosh.
It's okay to say legend, right? He's a legend.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we had not even a return because he didn't really go anywhere. But after. Yeah. Let's just think about everything that's led up to this. According to Hip Hop by the Numbers, 401 days of waiting from when he first announced Donda to now when we got here. 3 stadium listening tours that grew out of that delay. Feud with Drake. Platforming Marilyn Manson and DaBaby. Honestly, I'm not even gonna say DaBaby anymore because he's beginning his redemption arc. It was horrible. We didn't forgive him, but like the real issue there was Marilyn Manson, who, if you don't know what he did, just Google Marilyn Manson sexual assault.
He set himself on fire.
He lit himself on fire. There was just so much drama surrounding this, but now we're here with Donda, and it's 27 tracks, depending on who you ask. Some may say 23 tracks, up in the air for interpretation.
I have
1 hour and 44 or 48. What is it?
48. It's 48.
48 minutes. It's a lot. It's a lot.
So fellas,
I don't even know where we're gonna start here.
Yeah, no, I know exactly how to start.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
I know exactly how to start. So I'm gonna give it from my perspective and then give it to y'all. Okay, so
that's not a good word. I feel like you're supposed to just tell us where to start.
No, I've got you. Hold on, I got y'all.
Like, so, I'm gonna talk first, and then
I'm gonna talk, y'all. I'm gonna talk, and y'all bounce off me. Okay. So Saturday night, I went to sleep. I woke up. You know, I like to sleep in Sunday morning. I woke up to a flurry of text messages from these two great brothers right here. And I hear 3 words. Donda is out from Avery DeLaw. And I'm like, oh crap. I turn around in my bed, still sleeping, go to Donda, press play, and I see it's out. So I go press play and I listen to the 1 hour 44. Yeah, the first words I hear are Donda, 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 Donda. And I finished the album and my first thoughts were, there wasn't a track I didn't like. Up to the first listen of Donda, there was a track I did not like. It was ridiculously long, which we'll talk about. We'll get into that more. But after my first listen of Donda, I was like, wow, I'm actually impressed. And my hot take, I said this in the chat, almost sent in the chat. I didn't, but I told him later. I said, this is Kanye's best work since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. That is how I felt after my first listen of Donda by Kanye West.
Avery, what was your first impression? We're doing first impressions.
It's just like this is a monster. It's long. It's
literally.
It is massive.
Final boss.
It literally felt like that. I felt like, you know, we had some little missions leading up to it with the listening parties. This felt like the final boss. That's a good way to put it. I liked it. It was good, but like it was so long that I mean, I'll get into it a little later, but like it made it hard to re-listen to going forward. I think by the middle of this week, Noah and Nnamdi were like, how many times you guys listen to it? They're like 2 or 3. And I was like, honestly, once. It's intimidating. It's so big.
It's a scary album.
But it's good.
I think my impressions of Donda is it's the perfect analogy for its creator. It's like this dramatic, messy, super creative, kind of brilliant, but like also like a little bit like egotistical, like a work in progress, like twisted. It's like to me, when I think of what Kanye West and who he is now, what he stands for, who he is, like how he just the way he acts, Donda makes so much sense because it's just this super, super long mess of an album that is still somehow just a little bit kind of brilliant. Like your question, how, like, is this a great, you know, I don't even think it's a question. I just think Kanye West's one weakness is that he's at a point in his career where I don't think he likes being told, hey, consider this, hey, try this. I think he likes being the only voice in the room other than yes men. And this album really could have used a little bit of refining. And I feel like if it was refined just a bit, even as, you know, off the rip, strike out Donda, strike out all the part 2s, and you immediately, to me, have a way more cohesive album. Can you imagine if when you first press play, the very first thing you hear is dun 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 dun?
Like, I think a product of that, like to your point of it being unrefined, is I don't think it's finished. Like it doesn't feel like which he's done with Life of Pablo. Where obviously, you know, the famous tweet, I'm gonna fix wolves. Like,
but you know, Avery,
go ahead.
You provided the perfect pool into one thing I didn't want us to skip that I want you to weigh in on with as you complete that thought. So do you believe Kanye when he says Universal put out the album without his consent?
I do actually believe that this is like they turned it, because his manager said they turned it in. They've turned it in.
I wonder if they turned it in, but Kanye still thought he'd get to say yes when he wanted to say yes. Like,
yeah, you know, that's interesting.
If you wanna get Nnamdi, because Nnamdi goes into detail about this on his newsletter, which was a great piece. Nnamdi, great piece. I really enjoyed it. He was really nuanced. I mean, he was. Nnamdi's a great writer. Of course, you guys are all great writers.
We're plugging a lot.
I mean, of course, this is what we do. But Nnamdi talked about how, I mean, to me, it just didn't add up. We had multiple people saying, his managers confirming, just turned in Donda. It's coming. We just turned it in. I remember going to Instagram, seeing the news from Complex Music. And then it's like, come on, Kanye. Like, bro, like, they turned in the album. Like, come on.
I think if Kanye didn't want it out, it would not be out right
now. That's my thing. Kanye is at the level now.
Like,
where if he's like, exactly. So,
and no, kind of like, I don't mean to like self-promote, but I'm going to go into like my newsletter just a bit, because I do think
go ahead.
It shapes how I sort of all of this, it puts it together. I don't think Kanye knew how to finish this.
I agree.
I think Kanye knew he put together this 27 track album that was good, that the production was there, but I think there was more things that I think he could tell, like, this isn't done. There are things I want to fix. I just don't think he knew how to fix it. And I think that's probably because, one, I think, again, Kanye likes to be the central voice in a room. And two, I don't really know what number two is, because I think he did the listening parties to get feedback. I think the whole point of those tours was feedback.
It got more refined as the listening parties went on.
As it went.
I agree.
That's why I'm not like, part of me, I really do think Drake has something to do with it. I'm not gonna lie. I think Kanye really wanted to drop this September 3rd. I think the 6 extra days, which is when it was formally pushed. It was pushed to September 3rd. I think the 3 extra days would have like helped him. Or not 3, like the 6 extra days would have helped him. I think there were last minute things. I had a friend who's a producer that I was talking to today that brought up how there was like certain mixing things he could hear that weren't done, or like, certain,
I heard that
things,
too.
like details in production that he could tell weren't like really there. Maybe he would have fixed that. Maybe he would have had a better album cover. Maybe he would have cut this and refined a little bit more. I just don't think it was done. But I think because Kanye, again, sorry, I'm being long-winded. I think because Kanye is sort of like insecure about his music, because, when you're striving for perfection, but don't know how to get there, you're going to be insecure no matter what you put out.
Yeah.
I think that's why the rollout was as messy as it was. And it was so dramatic. And we got a little Drake feud, and we got like the constant change up of the album dates, because he did not know how to make the perfect album that he knew he kind of had, but wasn't there.
And multiple versions of the song.
Yeah. Can I give a little history on myself here?
Go ahead.
Ooh.
So when Life of Pablo was released, it was obviously not finished. Like that first version of Life of Pablo was so rough.
It was pretty rough.
After my first listen of that album, famously among our little friend group, I love that album.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved that album after the first time I listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of an indicator to me that after I listened to this album, granted 2 hours after I started it, I didn't love it. I didn't fall in love with it the same way I did Life of Pablo.
It's so strange that you feel that way to me.
I like it. I like it. It's a good album.
I just hear Donda, and when I hear Donda, I think it's like Kanye's most like realized and like aware and like best version of the Life of Pablo Kanye and the sort of Jesus King Kanye. And
I agree with that. It feels like a lot of like, if you're adding like Jesus plus Life of Pablo plus Jesus King plus,
this is like the end result of all
this
that.
is the equals of that.
I totally agree. To me, not only to me is this his best work since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, this is his most realized work. The reason I didn't like, and I'm gonna compare this to his most recent work, Jesus King, before this, that just felt very
random,
very random, very out of nowhere, very uninteresting, uninspiring, honestly.
And I hated that people called it a gospel album. Sorry.
But
to me, that felt like he was shoving the Christian thing. Like, hey, I'm making a Christian album. I'm gonna shove it in your face. This
gospel
is so much more subtle than that.
This, I totally agree, because the fact now, of course, I mean, it's of course to let you know, to let your Christianity out there. I'm a Christian. It's okay, but it's that album to me just didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me. This album, because it was more subtle, it worked a lot better for me in terms of the themes in this album, what he was talking about in this album. I mean, not every track was talking about God, you know what I'm saying? He says, Junior Watanabe on my wrist. That's not very Christian-like to talk about, these material possessions, you know what I'm saying? But still, the themes and the gospel music behind it too was a lot better. It's like including on Junior Watanabe with those pianos that dun dun.
I think what it did a better job in demonstrating was his personal relationship with Christianity. And I'm not a religious person, so I don't have that experience myself. But what I gleaned from this album rather than saying like trying to like make a whole album about Christianity or about Jesus, he like had this album that kind of displayed his fractured and imperfect relationship with Christianity itself.
Fair. I like that. I like that description.
I agree. And even with that, Avery, that thread, I think I spoke to again a friend today who pointed out that like on none of these songs does Kanye really actually talk about Donda or give you like a song like Hey Mama that's like a clear tribute to his mother.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
And my rebut to that was, I think this is different because I'm gonna try to get deep. Remember what I said. I think this is all an attempt for Kanye to feel like closer to Donda, his mom, who of course is gone and in heaven. And I think his way of doing that is by like sort of getting close to the themes she had when she was alive. I think like, pretty sure Donda West was very religious. I think that's what instilled sort of like Kanye's faith in God in him. And I think a little bit of him feels like by leaning into Christianity and gospel music and that sound, he's leaning into like what his mother would have wanted him to do, that sort of thing, right?
Yeah,
I think that's why this is Donda. This was originally titled Jesus is King Part 2. When he first did the follow-up to Jesus is King, it was going to be called Jesus is King Part 2. And I think that became Donda because Kanye realized all of the Jesus is King, Jesus is born, all of that I think was sort of an attempt to be the Kanye his mom wanted, assuming his mom was religious and Christian and imparted that sort of wisdom on him. That's my little theory with that.
Yeah, which is also really interesting considering Donda, the album's called Donda, which is about his mom. You would think this album is super personal. You know what I'm saying? It's like Kanye's going to really dig into some deep themes in here. And it's the exact opposite because this album is littered with features.
He digs deep on some songs though.
No, for sure. But when you listen to the album, some songs, but we forget. You remember there's 27 songs here. So if it's three songs,
of them,
it's gonna get buried over the the course of a whole album.
I'll give you 26 because the first song.
Exactly. It's 26. Donda. Exactly. Donda's not really a song, but 26 songs. It's you're right. Chance. But Selena Johnson also was the person that was on
All Falls Down.
All Falls Down. That's the voice that's saying Donda. So it's really interesting that Donda you consider is a really personal album, but it's littered with features and kind of people that are not talking about Donda. I mean, I'm pretty sure Jay-Z said her name. She mentioned something about I'm here with your son Donda, essentially. But that's really interesting.
Break up the two different parts of his verse, which is cool.
Exactly, which was cool. So yeah, I mean, this album is a very tough thing to really analyze and talk about because of the length. It was really difficult to listen to and break down because of the length. But
if we're gonna like really get into it, I think like the I don't know if we want to start with pros or cons first, but like a lot of my issues with this album kind of stem from the fact that it is called Donda. And the fact that I wish that there was more of, and obviously we've acknowledged it's an unfinished album, but I wish there was more of a kind of narrative thing here. I wish maybe we got a little more interludes with his mother because we get them at some points in the album.
Yes.
I wish we maybe heard a little bit more from Dr. Donda West.
I'm with you because
I wish some of the features featured more women on them.
Oh, that's another thing. We'll get to that.
Like 2 prominent women featured on this entire album.
We'll get to that. That's one of my gripes with this album because the first listening party that was in Atlanta, which I had my little brother on to talk about. That listening party, that first version of the album, whatever it was that we heard, her voice was featured a lot through that album. It was like between each song, it'd be like Miss Donda West speaking throughout the album. And this was the exact opposite. There was that one thing with Donda. What was the track called? Donda?
Donda song on here.
The song's called Donda, right?
The Donda chant, is that what you're talking about?
No, the song called Donda,
okay,
where it was Kanye West's mom basically talking about she's getting ready to
Is she like praying? Is that like, there was one where there was someone who I thought was like kind of praying. Was that what this was?
I'm not sure, but I remember her talking about, her son said I could talk about anything I want, essentially. So it sounds like she's about to do some kind of sermon or, she's about to do some kind of speech. So I wish there was more, her voice kind of woven into the album, which was kind of disappointing me because I wish that was one of my favorite parts of that first listening party.
I found out today that she wrote a book a few years ago called Raising Kanye.
Yeah.
And I even think like maybe if Kanye had picked some verses or some like passages from that book and like read them out as like,
Ooh.
interludes, like could have helped with some sort of structure along this album.
Y'all, but I really feel like, y'all know I'm the one who's always big on a cohesive album and having a theme and a narrative. I think this album had that. I just don't think it was in the traditional way you think of a narrative. I think the Donda connection is strictly in the religious undertones.
That's fair.
This album almost feels like a sermon, and I think that's the point. I think when you get to the track where Donda's speaking, you almost try to figure out, is this like a prayer? Is this into a place? Is this like is she saying so? It felt like to me like a pastor preaching when Donda.
Yeah, that's what it felt like to me. That's what it felt like.
And that's what you get from the first track of this album to the final one. For the majority of these tracks, what bridges them together are the strong religious undertones of the on No Child Left Behind, the bells on No Child Left Behind, right when you hear it. On how every single song feels like a choir singing behind you. It feels
24.
like rapturous. Like
24
was 24.
That was a great one.
On Jesus Lord. On Jesus. There's a song after Jesus Lord.
Lord, I need you.
Lord, I need you.
Mm-hmm.
Like on all of the that is the theme of the album. That's what Donda is. The biggest thing that stood out to me about those stadium tours he did is that one scene where I think it was in both of the last two shows where Kanye like is ascending into like that white light that it was shooting down on the stadium. I remember that scene of the
it was in the second one. It was in the second one.
Yeah.
The second one. I think when he did that, that was sort of the replica. That was the idea of Donda. It's his attempt to feel close to this person that is now in like a spiritual realm. And the only way we've ever been taught on earth to connect with anyone who is now in that spiritual realm of heaven is through church and through your Christ figure, your Jesus. And I think that
your
was
God.
the point. Your God. I think that was the point of Donda. That's why the entire thing from start to finish. Noah tweeted this day one when the album dropped, and he said it as a joke, and I was like, no, I think you're onto something. He was like, it's as long as a Sunday sermon. And I was like, yeah, I think
I was not intentionally trying to be like.
You weren't trying to be woke, but you
give it a compliment.
It sort of clicked in my brain that that's what this is. Like Donda is a Sunday sermon. If his mom loved Jesus Walks when that dropped in 2005, she's gonna love her son taking Jesus Walks and making it an album.
Well, that's interesting considering this album has no curse words. I mean, there's curse
I think
words,
that's the point. They're censored.
Yeah,
all of them are censored. I think that is the point. It's supposed to feel like this Sunday sermon. It's the reason why we've had this entire lead up of Jesus is born and Jesus is king and the little tour thing he was doing and all. I think that's the whole point. It's because it was all to connect to Donda,
which is why I find it so interesting that there were so many features on here. Because getting into the music, songs like Off the Grid, specifically Praise God, Junior, those are songs that this album's called Donda, but they're not those songs like Off the Grid specifically, which is one of my favorite tracks. I agree I think that's a lot of people's one of people's favorite songs on the track. That's one of the first songs that I like. It's one of the first songs of the album, but I was like, my ears perked up. Great song, but like 504 is not rapping about hey Donda, I love you, or Jesus or something like that, or Baby Keem, which is Avery kind of discussed this, Praise God. Baby Keem's not really rapping about anything, but still he's not rapping about Donda or religious themes. He's not really saying anything specific. It's kind of just going, and it sounds good, but it doesn't really highlight what Donda is about.
See, but can I actually cut into Baby Keem?
Mm-hmm.
He raps like whatever, but he still has religious themes in his verse. And I think a lot of the features, even if you don't catch it, he does. Like Baby Keem, even if it's like whatever, I signed a few censored, I polished their dreams, an angel on earth come under my wing. Y'all treat your Lord and Savior like renter's insurance, you know what I mean? Like, I had to let go, forgave all them evils that came to my show. I gathered my sinners and asked if I'm right. Let's get whatever. The point being, even on the verses that feel like they're about nothing, I'm sure Kanye still said, y'all got to do something that I want to feel every single bar. I want the feature staffs to feel something, to be somewhat connected to some kind of spirituality.
I got you. Which is why I felt that more on Hurricane, which I thought is one of the most beautiful tracks. Because the Weeknd's, he's talking about, he's referring to God essentially. You know what I'm saying? Father, hold me close. Don't let me drown. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a very strong theme, and Weeknd's voice I thought was perfect for this. And I thought DaBaby had a great verse on this song also. But this is one of the tracks killing it. But this is one of the songs that I felt like, because one of the things I wrote down was like, man, this album is so organized but so unorganized at the same time. Yeah. Some tracks sound so perfectly like they were done. This track was ready. And some tracks sound like, ooh, you know, feel like they just kind of threw this together. Hurricane is one of those songs that I felt like was like, wow, that's Kanye had a specific thought. Beautiful, beautiful. Weeknd was amazing. I mean, Weeknd's just been on a killing the last couple of years. But I thought that track was perfect. I thought it was a perfect track. And I'm pretty sure you guys agree. That's a lot of people's favorite tracks.
Yeah. I agree. And I want to share what my favorite track is, even though I know y'all know. But no, I do want to say, again, before we completely leave that religious thing we were just in, I think every feature on here, with the exception of Off the Grid, in every verse references God or religion in like some way or capacity. I think I just while you were talking, I looked through like at least the songs where it makes sense. Like I looked through Keep My Spirit Alive with Conway and West Side Gun. I looked through Praise God. I looked through there was one more I did with Roddy Ricch, Pure Souls.
Pure Soul.
And they all, even if it's in their own way or it's just a bar, they all reference God. And again, I do think that was a message Kanye sent. The only one that doesn't is Off the Grid, and I could argue that the song is called Off the Grid. Like if the grid in this case is like church or sermon or whatever, I'm off the grid. Maybe he doesn't want to stick to it. If he cussed in any of them, I would expect it to be that one. Yeah. But I say it's emphasized that like I feel like I always come on this pod and say I want an album to feel cohesive. I want it to have a theme. I want it to have a narrative. I want to tell a story, and that doesn't have to be like.
Oh, I think there's a theme here. I don't think there's a narrative. I think there's a theme here. I think there is a clear theme.
I think there's a narrative, but I think the narrative is sonic. I think it's a sonic narrative. I think with how much the production resembles itself and how in some places it kind of grows. Like I think that is a form of a narrative. It doesn't always have to be as on the nose.
That's
and
fair.
I don't think I'm just giving that to Kanye. I really do believe that. But
no, that's fair. I mean, I think you could tell. I mean, music is a very powerful tool that people can use, and I think production can be a tool to tell a story. And clearly, he did that with these like the songs where it's just like strictly the Sunday service choir. Like I mentioned, 24 and Lord I Need You. Those were some of the songs that resonated with me the most. In terms of what he's done with gospel music, because Jesus King just did not resonate me in terms of the gospel music he was using, and Lord I Need You and 24 really resonated with me. And 24, obviously I feel like that's a reference to Kobe.
I know it is, but like I cannot let you go into another song without referencing the song that is the with 2 E's song on this album. And I was just waiting for you. I was trying to be respectful and let you bring it up, but you keep on skipping it. We're not doing that.
Believe what I say?
Jail featuring Jay-Z, Don Carter. I am tired, y'all. All I've had in my head today, even with Certified Lover Boy out, all I've had in my head has been one line. You want to know what it is?
What's that?
What is it?
We young got it down night.
I told Noah a few days ago, this is the song that makes me want to go to a Kanye concert.
Right.
And scream it. Like this is the song.
This is what I was waiting for Kanye to do. A song that just sounds like stadium. This, you could have taken Jail, and guess what album you could have put it on? My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. You could have put it in, it would have fit in.
Can I use this song as a bridge to my biggest criticism?
Yeah.
There is a part 2 to this. The part 2 features Marilyn Manson and DaBaby.
I kind of want you to hold off on that because I kind of want to get a whole nother thing about the part 2.
The album a little bit longer.
No. Avery,
I can wait, but this is the perfect song for me to get into that.
For sure. But I kind of feel like that's a whole separate conversation about the part 2s because that is a part of the album. I want you to have your moment.
It's my biggest criticism.
For sure, I'm with you. But I still want to talk about the.
Let me know when you want me to go.
I got you. But speaking about Jail. I didn't want to skip over because everybody loves that track.
I love this song. Part 1.
Incredible. Everybody loves that. I love that track too. I thought Jay-Z's verse wasn't anything crazy, but his presence was really felt. It was his.
It's the return of the throne.
No, I'm not saying. I mean, Jay-Z. I mean, first of all, I think Jay-Z's a legend. Jay-Z's literally one of the GOATs, if not the GOAT. Okay.
I thought his verse was actually really interesting.
No, it was interesting. Exactly. It wasn't like his flow was anything insane, but it felt like he was just talking. It was very precise.
obviously, you know, there's the whole drama with him and Kanye around the life of Pablo. You know,
About that
Beyonce
being
wanting to hang out
Untitled.
with him, the
Yeah.
kids don't play together, all that stuff. And I thought it was really interesting. This is their return together. Obviously, you know,
Told him
this
stop
leads us
all
to
that
believe
red
that some
cap. We
fences
going
were
home.
mended, right? And yeah, this line told him stop all that red cap. We going home. I thought Jay-Z kind of went in on Kanye here in a way that I didn't expect him to.
Well, I actually
Kind of called him
appreciate
out.
that.
I
Yeah,
did. I
mean,
appreciate it.
I mean, that's what friends do. You got to be honest. I mean, I'm assuming Jay-Z
And
and
that's
Kanye are
what
friends.
Jay-Z's relationship has always been in Kanye's life. At least I feel.
He's been a
Big
mentor.
brother.
No, he's a big brother. He's a big brother.
Yeah, big brother, and like a big brother would
What's
can do
Big's
this to
brother?
you on your song. Yeah, your
Used to be
big
Jack and
brother can
Big's
on your
brother.
song say, "I told him to stop all of that red cap. We going home."
That's so interesting. Like that's
I
more
agree.
than I ever thought. Someone like Kanye would allow someone to criticize him on his own song.
I agree totally.
But you know,
totally.
whenever Jay-Z and Kanye work together, it also makes me realize why Kanye was so hurt by Jay-Z not showing up to his wedding. Because like,
Absolutely.
really, I think Kanye means it when he
I
says,
mean-
"This is my big brother."
Kanye got his big break when he got a producing credit on the
Yeah.
Blueprint too, I believe.
Mhm.
So I mean that was Kanye's big break. So yeah, I mean he has a big impact on him. Some other songs that just stood out before we get to like the other parts because there's so much music
go
on this thing.
For sure.
Thing. Believe What I Say, I think was a standout for everybody when
Beautiful,
everybody heard
yeah.
that Lauryn
Yep.
Hill sample.
But Drake got a
was-
Lauryn Hill feature, I believe. I'm not meaning to compare.
No,
I
he
didn't-
No,
no,
it's
he
a
didn't have a Lauryn Hill
sample.
feel.
Did
So
someone say that? Why
he
did I
has
see it
he has
featuring Lauryn?
Drake has two samples of Lauryn Hill. He has Nice for What,
X
which
Factor.
is clearly, which is X Factor, and then he used the same sample that Kanye did on Draft Day, which is not an official. Well, it's an official song now because it's on and what's that little thing called of the unreleased tracks that Drake put out?
Care package.
Care Package, exactly. So
Wait, so there was nothing on Certified Lover Boy?
no Lauryn
I
Hill
don't know why I thought
feature,
that.
no Lauryn Hill sample. But other than that, Believe What I Say was a great bouncy bop song that we
This
all
song
love.
to me sounded like it could have been on Life of Pablo.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great
Yeah, I
Kanye
could
song.
see it.
It could have fit on a lot of albums, honestly, because this is like a song that Kanye could have done, like, Graduation. Like, I mean, it's obviously
Yeah.
a soul sample of Lauryn Hill, which has an iconic voice. So it's like, it was a great song. Kanye sounded great on that, and Lauryn Hill was great, even though she was a sample. So
Can we
shout out
talk
to Lauryn
about
Hill for
remote
killing it.
control?
Let's do it. That was one of my this track, which is a great bounce. It just was very. I didn't think it was amazing. Didn't think it was bad. This was
I've
like,
heard a lot of people who've said this is their favorite song. So
Favorite track.
surprising
Wow.
It's not mine. I've heard a lot of people.
Wow.
love this song.
Wow.
I get it though. It sounds really good. It's a creative flow. That's my thing with Kanye. Who else is done? Please don't ask again. Who's up? But like every time he does something, I feel like I can't think of another artist that like sounds like that.
Kanye's singing was good on this album. Like
I
he was
agree.
taking
I
like
enjoyed his
vocal
singing a
lessons
lot.
or something. Especially on I Know We Can't the song about Kim, which name is slipping my mind right now.
I want to say No Child Left.
No, it's
Lord, I Need You. It may have been Lord, I Need
yeah,
You.
yeah. And he sings at the end of it, and it's really
he does
nice.
sing, and he sounds good. That's one of my favorite singing tracks because obviously, excuse me, I believe Sunday Service is on that song also.
Oh, I
so,
may have meant Moon. I may have meant
Moon.
Moon as being
Moon.
people's favorite.
How'd you
I
guys
like
feel
it.
about-
that song? Was great too.
How'd you guys feel about Kid Cudi's feature on Moon? How'd you feel about it?
They sound beautiful on this song.
They never miss.
Kid
They
Cudi sounded
never
great.
miss.
Kid Cudi sounded great.
They literally sound
Um,
beautiful on this song.
I
Yeah,
love it.
exactly. Now something I have to say that I thought was very awkward, very, I want to say disrespectful, just like it wasn't needed. One of the tracks that I really feel like should have just been gone. Like I really feel strongly
I know
about
what
it
you're
being
about to say.
gone.
Yeah,
Tell the Vision
yeah.
featuring Pop
Mhm.
Smoke.
This does not need to be there.
Y'all know how I
Um,
feel about posthumous.
I mean,
stuff.
posthumous, all that. We've talked about it. We've had a discussion about it. We talked about Pop Smoke at length. He has a second posthumous album that's out this year after his first one that came out last year, which
I
is
saw
pretty
someone
crazy.
say this is the worst use of Pop Smoke since his last album.
well, okay,
Wow.
but can I say one thing about this that makes me feel a tad better?
What?
This, and instead of this being like Kanye digging up a unreleased verse or something, this was actually a song that Pop Smoke released full-fledged. It was on his first album that Kanye just took and reworked, which feels more almost like a sample than a genuine like new verse. Either way, I think it's one of the few tracks that could have just been skipped because I think it was only included so you can say you have a Pop Smoke sound.
Yeah, I
And
think
when that's the point, I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
He already
Honestly,
has drill sounds on this album.
he already
the
has drill
5EO.
sounds on here. He has 5 on here. He didn't need it. He did not need it. And I get Pusha T's Pusha T's manager was also Pop Smoke's manager. I get the connection, but it did not need to be on here, which is one of the problems I had with that
Jesus
with
Lord
the
is
album.
so good too.
No, I
Jesus
gotta ask
Lord is
you,
great too.
as the Griselda fan, as the biggest Griselda fan here.
Oof.
Yes, sir.
There's
Keep my
there's a
spirit
couple
alive.
Griselda. There's a couple Griselda features on here with Conway and
West Side Gun.
I resent you calling Noah the biggest Griselda fan.
I mean, I am.
I don't know if I agree with that.
we're all
I mean,
Griselda fans,
but
Nnamdi
it's a
is as
fact.
well. But
I'm
Noah,
I'm a stand at this point. I listen to
I think
everything.
that's a very subjective comment, but it's fine. Noah, go ahead with your take.
I don't know why you're so mad about this, bro. Come on now. Boom, 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 boom. Keep My Spirit Alive. I mean, West Side Gun and Conway, they both sounded great. I mean, there was rumors about them working together. There was pictures of them in Montana. So I'm glad they actually made the album. It's good to see Griselda on a big album like this. So they're going to get a lot of looks, from this album. And, West Side Gun and Conway, they both sounded great. Conway was really, they had some personal things on there. Conway's verse was short. It wasn't a long track. But, I didn't even know Royce the 5'9"
I did
was
not
on
know
here.
that.
I did not know Royce the 5'9"
Wait,
was on
what?
here.
Why
Wow.
does Kanye not have features labeled on streaming platforms?
It looks
I-
like
it's a
one
problem.
line. It's one.
Yeah, it
line.
looks like one line. Maybe he made a sample. He might have sampled it. I feel like that's what it is. I feel like he sampled a Royce the 5'9".
Oh, and it's
like
his
song.
verse. I'm telling you, y'all see Donda. Y'all said, "Where's the Donda?" This is the Donda. The
I'm with
verse
you,
is
I'm with you.
a Bible verse, apparently.
For sure. So I really enjoyed that track a lot. So yeah. So, and honestly, we've been talking about this album a lot. The unofficial ending, which is track 23, No Child Left Behind.
Beautiful.
I
think that is
wish,
a beautiful song.
although I looked at the time, if I deleted the last 4 tracks, the last 4 part 2s, it's still an hour and 20-ish minutes.
Yeah.
But if it was going to be this long, No Child Left Behind should have been the last track to me. It should
I
have been,
think this
been the
album
ending.
could have been a perfect thing for this album. Would have been starting with Jail, ending with No Child Left Behind, because it tells a story, and that would have been like
I agree.
I could have
This
built
was-
a narrative element. But I love this song.
This was the
love
song
the
that
bells.
they put on that Sha'Carri Richardson trailer for the
Yeah,
first
during-
listening party
during the
for
NBA
first
Finals.
release date. Yeah,
Well, yeah, it was in the commercial during the NBA Finals. Remember the
Mhm.
Beats commercial?
I'm not
She
gonna lie,
was in,
this
so.
may be the most beautiful and also substantive song on this album, despite it being so short. I love this song. I think it's
I
just such a
agree.
beautiful song. I love the bells. I love Kanye singing on it. I love Bori. Don't know who Bori is, but he's on this.
They're
I
all
think
over
it's
this album.
amazing.
Yeah, whoever that is, I'm not sure who Vori is. I don't know if that's a group. I don't know
And
if it's a
yeah,
person,
I
so-
want to swing this into my bigger point, because we need to start talking about the cons and then give this a score, because I can already tell we've done this review for a minute.
we're at 33 minutes, so
Okay, we got it. We're good.
for the review, not the whole.
But the
Mhm.
thing about Donda, the reason why I can look past the 27 tracks,
Oh,
the mistake of putting on the part 2s,
mm,
the sometimes subpar lyrics,
ah,
I can look past it because the highs on this album are just so high, in my opinion.
mhm.
They're just so high. I think the highs on this album are better than the highs on Certified Lover Boy. I know that's
Oh
not
my
this
gosh.
episode. Sorry, I'm just saying it. I
Kill this
think
man.
the highs on Donda are just really high highs. And I think it makes you be
Literally
able
and figuratively.
to- the fact that we just literally, when we're just saying tracks we liked, we low-key named half the album, not even half, more than half of the album.
We
Just
did,
saying
we
tracks
did.
we thought were that we really, really enjoyed. And that says something to me. And I'm sorry, I know next week when we review that other gentleman's album, it's not going to be the same. It's just not. And
Ooh.
that's the difference between
Ooh.
like a Drake and a Kanye West, in my
Ooh.
opinion.
Ooh.
It's like Drake can do hits reliably, sure, but when Kanye hits, it's a moment. Like it just feels so good.
well,
And
let's
Donda has a lot of those tracks on there. For me.
yeah. So let's talk about this. The last 4 tracks are part 2s, and that to me just solidifies how unorganized this whole recording of this album was, because if Kanye was so sure about this, which he clearly wasn't, he would have just released one of the parts. Like, pick your favorite part, Kanye, and stick with it. But he didn't.
I don't think unorganized is the right word.
It's unorganized to me, because Kanye could have released a short version of this album and put those 4 songs out separately. He's done that before. He's released certain songs. I mean, Good Friday he did before My Beautiful Dark
I
Twisted
think maybe
Fantasy.
Kanye wanted to. I think when he says, they did this without my approval. I think when Kanye turned in all these songs to say, like, here's what I have done, and they put it out, I think Kanye optimistically and I have no evidence of this. I just hope. I don't think these part 2. I think they were supposed to be bonus tracks.
No.
I think they're meant, and I treat them as such. They're
No,
alternates. They're B-sides.
I don't treat them as bonus tracks because they're just part of the track listing. It doesn't say bonus tracks. He didn't treat them as bonus tracks. He wanted it on here because of something.
Maybe he was like, maybe they would have common sense to know that.
I don't know, and I'm not gonna. And nobody said
they're
anything.
B-sides. They're alternates.
No, okay, you're saying that Kanye has not confirmed.
I think by saying part 2, it's an alternate.
It's an extension. It's an extension. Whatever it is, he did not need these songs on here, and that just goes with the problem of Jail Part 2, which Avery already kind of spoke about. But I'll just say my little 2 cents. DaBaby's. I'm not a big fan of him as a person or his music, but I don't think DaBaby. You know, it's bad timing. No. I know Avery's gonna go, but DaBaby. He's not done for music. I mean, he was going to be featured on songs. I don't think he deserved to never be on music ever again. But it was just really bad timing considering this happened a couple weeks ago with this whole situation with Rolling Loud. Marilyn Manson, on the other hand, did not deserve to be on this album at all, considering he is a rapist. There's multiple accusations against him. I know
there's multiple, but we have to for legal.
Okay. I'm sorry. You're right. I got allegedly. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Allegedly, he is a rapist. There's multiple accusations. And multiple victims who have come out and said things about Marilyn Manson. So I thought not only was this bad time, it was just wrong to have him on this album. And also wrong to have him at that listening party at Soldier Field in Chicago and have him just standing there for no reason. So
absolutely. Avery, I want you to say your take now that you were going to say before.
Yeah, I think, look, this is clearly there are themes of religion here, and along with Christianity, there are themes of redemption. And I think there's a very forced theme of redemption on this album with the features. And I think even with the song Jail, which itself is about, you have your imperfections and God overlooking those imperfections, right? Loving you despite those imperfections. Why did you need more than that? Especially considering the feature on Jail, part 1 with Jay-Z, who himself we saw go through his own sort of redemption arc with his wife Beyonce.
That came with an amazing album too.
Exactly, and that was years long. And so I think, and that's not forced. Like if there was just Jail and we heard Jay-Z holding Kanye accountable for his past transgressions with the red cap, and then we had Jay-Z himself on there, who went through his own redemption arc. Why did we need DaBaby on here, who's complaining basically in his verse about how we quote unquote threw him out and how he can't feed his daughter, which feels so
shut up. You're a millionaire. Shut up.
Marilyn Manson on here. There's Chris Brown on here. Soulja Boy was supposed to be on this album, who himself has allegations. 6ix9ine was on a version of one of these songs.
What does Soulja Boy do? I know Soulja
He has accusations of violence against women as well. 6ix9ine was on a version of Hurricane at some point.
Oh, I'm not allowed.
I'm not saying
6ix9ine could have got a demo.
No, he's not. It's okay. He's not saying that, but still the fact that
the fact that Kanye considered all these people,
but he has Marilyn Manson on here still. So
and Chris Brown.
And then
there's this very forced theme of redemption throughout this whole album.
I have a problem with that too.
About his mother, apparently, with people who have violent, accusations of violence against women. On an album that doesn't feature many women, despite 2, not prominently. I'd say the most prominently featured woman on this album is Lauryn Hill in a sample,
which is pretty sad.
That wouldn't say Shansea has some pretty
come on.
I'm not kidding. I think she does more than I think the Lauryn Hill. I wouldn't down her like that, but
not a lot.
One. It's in very poor taste, and to me personally, lowers my feelings about the album. Like it makes it worse.
I agree with most of that. I think
to a point.
I do think there's not even layers. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't think Marilyn Manson should have been included on this album, and I think Kanye did that for headlines. To be honest with you, I get the art behind it. Ideally, maybe trying to what you're trying to represent, but to me,
where did Marilyn Manson earn that redemption? He didn't earn his way, quote unquote, earn his way onto this album.
And I think the bigger lesson message Kanye was trying to do was earning redemption being something you can work towards. And neither DaBaby or Marilyn Manson have done that. So I definitely agree with that.
And Chris Brown. Who continues to be featured on multiple videos. It's not just Kanye, it's multiple people, including Drake. Like many people like continue to platform that man.
Yeah. So
for some reason, people like to feel Chris Brown has had his redemptive arc. I think it's because he had a daughter and is a good dad. Maybe that
like he continues to hit people.
Quality.
So.
Yeah.
But absolutely, I don't think any excuse for Marilyn Manson or even DaBaby. So I definitely get that. I won't judge. I've been in like this really weird bind where like I've had deep issues with the fact that he did that, but also I've tried to like take a step by and say, okay, this like I'm
listen to it just for the music. Just
not even just for the music, but like trying to listen to it and understand the art he was trying to come forward, whatever message he was trying to send. I don't think that's strong enough on Jail 2. I would say
Marilyn Manson singing on a song about redemption, and then immediately after him singing, I have to listen to DaBaby complain about the fact that we canceled him, quote unquote, like not even really canceled him because no one's really canceled. Yeah, exactly. Like it just feels forced and like awkward.
I'm with you.
I'm with you. But what about that feels? I feel like wrong. Yes, I think it makes sense though. I don't feel like it's forced.
No, DaBaby has
earned. Like what did they earn? Like why do I
I don't think Jail is saying. I don't think it's about earning. I think it's about saying you can be redeemed. You can be forgiven. And
I think it's about you've been redeemed.
His case of like proving that point is by having these two people who are considered like the worst of worst right now and putting them on the song that says we're gonna go to jail tonight, but you can be redeemed. I think that was how I interpreted it.
Honestly, I'm not thinking that deep. Honestly, I'm thinking those dudes, this was not the right time. I know Kanye doesn't care, but this was not the right time.
Marilyn Manson's acts are so egregious that he'll never earn redemption.
Exactly. That's my point. Like this was just not the right time.
What do you do if Kanye looks at you and says, as horrible as it was, God says everyone can be redeemed?
I don't care. He allegedly raped 7 women and
I don't care.
Violence against 7 women.
Allegedly. So
allegedly.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'm just not. And getting to, we talked about like this. We got to wrap up a little bit, but getting all to the other parts.
Stop driving. Let me stop driving the boat, okay? I want to. I want to vent about.
No. I was about to. Oh, you still got more to say about Marilyn Manson?
I have more to say.
What do you have more to say about Marilyn Manson that hasn't been said already?
That Kanye should have left.
Exactly. That's what I thought. Getting to the other part twos. I thought that it was unnecessary. Okay. Part 2.
Are there differences in these part 2s?
No, there was some
different verses.
Yeah, different verses. Junior Part 2, which the regular Junior, with just Playboi Carti, was one of my favorite tracks. I was screaming that before we got on the podcast, before we started recording.
Wait, because the Playboi Carti track. What about Junior Part 2 made that your favorite?
No, I'm saying Junior, regular Junior, I liked a lot. It's just like Junior Part 2 was just like a Ty Dolla $ign feature that really didn't do much for me, so it just wasn't needed. So I just like the regular Junior by itself.
Jesus Lord Part 2 was good.
Jesus Lord Part 2, I mean, Jay Electronica's verse, people are going insane about because it's Jay Electronica, but it was cool.
And the Locks was on it.
Yeah, Locks, all the Locks did their thing, and that looks like they recorded raps and did the verses in Atlanta, which is kind of funny. They just hopped on it, which it was good, just a super long track, which is a weird ending because when I'm listening to it, like, I wish it just ended with No Child Left Behind. I wish it just ended like that. But I'm kind of with Nnamdi that like these were bonus tracks, but part of me is like, he put it on there, like. So I'm kind of split, but
I roll my eyes because I'm like, I just don't think you have to like say these are bonus tracks for us to be able to see that these are like bonus tracks. Mm-hmm. I get it. I mean, I'm not. This is by no means the hill I'm gonna die on. But for me, when I grade, but when I listen to this album, it's Jail to No Child Left Behind.
Yeah, I got you. That's fair too. That's fair too. So
what are you gonna do? So okay, well, do you want to do final thoughts and scores?
Let's do it.
Like we've sort of done a lot. Wait, actually, does anyone have? Wait, I liked Avery's con. Does there anyone have any other cons?
Cons? I mean, man, this album is just too long for me. I wrote about it. I don't care if every song's freaking amazing. I'm sorry. There is a time. A lot of things could have been cut from this album. There was some, and also we haven't mentioned this a lot. There was a lot of features on here. And it wasn't like these features were just used as another instrument. They had verses, long verses. A lot of these features had prominent voices on this album. And to me, it drowned out Kanye's voice a little bit on this album that was titled Donda, which I'm going to dock him points for that because I'm here to listen to Kanye. I'm sorry. Kanye's a great producer, Kanye is a great producer, all that, but Kanye still has the ability to rap. Off the Grid, he was rapping his ass off. Kanye has verses still that he can impress as an artist. What was the song on Jesus King? That second track that's really bouncy. That's like the best song on there. He has rapping ability. I mean, Kanye West hold his own with Kendrick Lamar and had just as good a verse. Kanye West still has the ability to rap well. So I wish there was more Kanye, less features, because although there was some great features on here, Fabio Foreign was great, Weeknd was great. I mean, he was just like essentially doing the hook. There was a lot of features on here, and I wish Kanye West his voice was more prominently featured throughout the album, which is a gripe I have. It's kind of like, Nnamdi talked about the Jay Electronica album last year, which was one of his favorites. But I was like, Jay-Z took over Jay Electronica's voice. But you're like, the album was still good. But I was like, yeah, but I was there for Jay Electronica. So there should be more Jay Electronica. I'm here for Kanye. I want to hear more Kanye. And I'm going to dock a points for drowning this album with features, because it was drowned with features. There's a lot of features.
I hate how you characterize that, because I just disagree. So like there was a lot of features, yeah, but I think one of Kanye's best skills is curation and like vocal arranging. And I think he uses features to showcase that. I'm not going to be mad if Kanye, when he produces, Kanye is a producer. He is a rapper, but he's a producer too. And clearly he's much better at the producing part. When he creates a song, I don't think when a rapper creates a song, I think it's easy for them to think about their verses. I think when Kanye creates a song, he thinks about the total song, the overall picture. And that may include features. But he's going to make sure he chooses the best features, cuts the best part, has the best bars, puts it over the best part of the beat, and makes sure it fits the song. One thing I actually loved about this album was that when I was listening to it on streaming, because there was no features labeled, it's hard to even, that someone is a different voice, but you listen to the song. And all the features
I'm not
feel
giving
like
that.
I don't care how you give him. I'm telling you what I give him is that it feels like it fits. The features are another added element that I think on every single song, the feature aids the song. It's another element that you enjoy on the song. Mm-hmm. I don't see the song you see where a feature ruined the song, where a verse was bad and like made you not like a song, or like where you forgot Kanye was on a song. None of those. I don't feel any. I didn't
say the features were bad. I just thought.
I know you said they drowned them out. I'm saying
I
don't see what song you look at where you say I forgot Kanye.
In the totality of the. You can say you're
not gonna tell me you finished listening to Donda, and in the totality of Donda you lost track of Kanye. I don't.
Absolutely. What are you talking about? Of course I did. It's 27 tracks with a feature on every single track.
I think just in the premise of this album,
I don't think that's
the
a
fact
hot
that
take.
there's strong religious. I think it is. Just from the fact that there's strong religious undertones throughout, you're gonna hear Kanye, because that's the Kanye.
Oh my gosh.
The production is also Kanye. I don't know how you lose. There's no CC. You just have a different take.
No, I do have a different take. My point is this.
For me, it's Kanye's production is his strength. Stop asking to tone it down. It may not be 50-50 rap producing. Kanye's strength is his production.
Well,
having features and curating a feature and vocal arranging is production.
I got
when
you.
Get to No Child Left Behind, the last song of this album that you're saying you heard it and you forgot Kanye did his thing. That is a Kanye song.
Well, that's not the last track.
Even if you get to the part twos, you're hearing Kanye beats, Kanye's production, and you know that. I heard your point. You don't have to rebut.
No. I'm somewhere in the middle. Like I think on some tracks the features overshine the fact that it is like this is a song, Hala, Jail 2, but I think it's like a less graceful version of what Dr. Dre did on 1999. Where he's like platforming younger artists. But I also agree with Nnamdi where like he does a really great job of like arranging these artists. He knows when they sound good and where they sound good, and a lot of these features sound amazing. So
it's fair. I mean,
can I ask, since there are a lot of features, what is everyone's favorite one?
Ooh.
As we get to our wrap up, because we're like 50 minutes into this.
Part of me wants to say wow, there's a lot. I like Jay. I didn't know people thought Jay-Z's verse was weak on Jail. I liked his verse a lot. I don't know if that's my favorite. This is hard. I really like Keep My Spirit Alive, both of their verses, Conway and West Side Gun. I feel like they did the best out of everyone, fitting the theme of the album really well. So maybe I'll say them as for favorite features.
Noah.
Jay Electronica had a great feature, but the Griselda guys were great. So and Fabio Foreign too.
You guys agreed.
Oh, Fabio Foreign.
That's nice.
Fabio Foreign.
Fabio's my favorite.
He killed it. So
incredible.
Yeah, that was great. So
yeah. Closing thoughts. Can we keep them concise?
Do it. Who want to go first?
I'll let Nnamdi go last.
Okay.
Noah.
I'll go first. I mean, oh, man, this album is a lot. It's kind of tough where to start, but this album is a good album. I think it's a really good album. I think it's a solid album. I've said this. I think this is best work since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but it is entirely too long. And it is an hour and 45 minutes, and that's going to affect 48 minutes, excuse me. And that is going to affect me wanting to go back to this album. Which, you know, being able to go back and listen to it is part of me enjoying it. So I will not go back to this album a lot based off the sheer length of this album. I'm with you guys. The production is great, but I believe Kanye is a great rapper and producer. That's why I fell in love with him. So yes, Kanye has great production, but I also expect great lyrics from Kanye. I'm not gonna, just give him a pass. Kanye showed ability to rap on this. His verse on Off the Grid was dope as hell. So I still expect great rap from Kanye. He is not Dr. Dre. He's Kanye. He raps and produces. So I expect great rapping still. And I felt like his voice got drowned out a little bit. Although there were great features, I want to hear Kanye's voice more than anybody else on here, which I feel like it didn't. So overall, good album. I am going to give this a solid 7 out of 10. Solid 7 out of 10.
That's good. Yeah, I think I echo a lot of that. I think it's long. I think it's a bit of a mess sometimes. I think, some of the features are a little distracting, and, the messages are wrong and unearned and imperfect, just like the rest of the album. But there are some really beautiful moments on here, and the features are really great. And Kanye has some of his best rapping in years. And, there are your usual fare of cringy Kanye lyrics, but that's just what you're going to get with Kanye. And he also has some bars on here. So I think I'm right with you. No, I'm giving you a 7 out of 10 as well.
I just, I feel like people hold Kanye to a different bar than we do with so many other rappers. And maybe we should. The argument could be made. I just don't think it's always fair. I think Kanye put together in 27 tracks a really good album. A really solid, with some tracks, great, amazing album. I think Kanye's production and rapping on this is probably his best since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I'm gonna go ahead and just say it surpasses The Life of Pablo. My hot take, maybe. Noah said it too. But I just think the highs on this are just way too high. And I love this album. There's enough tracks on here that I've saved on my phone, and it ended up being 3/4 of the album for me to really give it any sort of bad score. I'm gonna go ahead and say I give it an 8. And that feels like a comfortable 8. And I did that with the understanding that all of Kanye's albums that I put over it are like his first 5. And that makes sense to me. And all those would be 8.5s or above. So,
I'm with you.
I'm going to go with that.
7.3 average.
That feels right.
We're all in the same ballpark. So I think, maybe our narratives disagreed a little bit, but we all arrived to a similar conclusion. So
we may need podcast therapy after this one. I'm not gonna lie to you.
The journey was different.
Nnamdi mad that we gave it a 7.
I just really know. I just feel like you aren't in a jokey place right now. I just think for the rest of the show, maybe I'm gonna do my thing. You do your thing.
Do your thing, and let's just kind of keep this.
Let's just keep it pushing.
Let's keep it pushing. There's a working relationship.
I just feel a lot of negative energy coming from that box of the Zoom recording.
You know what you need? You need some prayer, young man. You need some prayer. You need some Jesus.
I'll just turn on Donda.
Just put on Donda.
All over me. I'll wash it all over me.
Oh my God. Okay.
Wow, y'all. That was, I don't even know. I'm gonna have to listen to that review to figure out if it was my favorite, at least for not, because I think I loved it.
We did a 50-minute review.
So we're so long. Okay, I'm sorry. We're an hour and a half. Don't even click on the links. Billboard highlights. Apparently, Kanye is going to debut at number 1 with Donda. Halsey will be at number 2. Sometimes I get the mix. I used to say the figures, but they predict really well. The numbers aren't always right. The official total will come out when Billboard puts them out. You'll see that when it happens. Essence is number 1 on the R&B hip hop airplay chart.
Hey,
very excited about it. Y'all know I've been keeping tabs on Essence, Wizkid, and Thames. This is actually Wizkid's second number 1 on this chart. His first was
One Dance.
One Dance.
Oh,
that was the first number 1. This is his first as a lead artist. I'm pretty sure he's the first Nigerian lead to do it. I think.
Wow, good for him.
I always say that, but if Wale or Sade I do had a number 1, then I'm wrong.
I don't think Wale has a number 1.
They did.
Wale don't have.
And then on the Billboard 200 this week, Olivia Rodrigo, mind you, we record on a Friday, so this week, Olivia Rodrigo was back at number 1. She sold 75,000 vinyl records, which is a record in itself. Vinyl, gosh, and then Aaliyah is one in a million formally hit the top 10, a peak that it never reached when it came out initially.
I know we're long, but did you guys see why James Blake delayed his album?
Yeah,
He delayed it because the vinyls would not be available on the same day as the album, which just
and
shows you.
I respect him, King.
Which shows you how important vinyl is right now. Like, that's crazy.
When you he has a nice cover. When you have a really nice cover,
like, that's crazy.
If Kanye puts out Donda vinyl, I'm not. Who's getting like what do I need it for? What do I need it for?
But like, that's crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy. I know, but I'm looking for. I may buy it on.
People are gonna cut out a black box. They're gonna print out a black paper and then cut it into a square and then frame and be like, "Yo, that's my Donda record."
He could have at least had like the word Donda like kind of embedded.
Oh, just in white and white, or just like tiny, or just something.
Even if it's all black, you still just like saw the Donda or just something. I don't know. Just do something.
I'm with you.
Projects of the week. I chose Made in Lagos, the deluxe from Wizkid. I was just in a very Afrobeat mood. I always tell people if you're trying to get into Afrobeat, but you want to kind of walk your way into it, I think Made in Lagos is a great album for number one. It gives you R&B vibes. It has some American features on it. And this deluxe is great. I talked about it last week. 3 new singles, all great. Love it. Check it out. Shout out to Wizkid.
My streak for not repeating albums has ended, guys, because I have used this album before myself. So Mood Valiant's 2021 album. Oh no, excuse me. Twisted words. Hiatus Coyote's 2021 effort, Mood Valiant, is my project of the week, and it is in contention for my album of the year. I freaking love this album. I have had this album on repeat for the last month. Oh my gosh, I love this freaking album. Napalm Voice, the lead singer, is freaking toxic. I love her voice. She's incredible. So, man, Mood Valiant by Hiatus Coyote is a funky R&B album that I freaking love. If you haven't listened to it, listen to it. It's freaking amazing.
Funky? Did you say it's funky?
Funky.
They didn't give you like disco. Oh wait, I wasn't even trying to make that joke. But like disco funky, I'm
not like disco funky, but like like Thundercat funky, like like my hips,
like
groovy.
Good bass.
Yeah, some good bass in there. A lot of great sounds. It's a live band, so it's great. But check it out if you haven't listened to it.
Avery, I just want you to know before you go, I almost chose this, but I saw you had it, and I was gonna do a repeat. That's all.
Look, I think this is just a testament to our friend, 97 Demo correspondent, Grant.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
97 Demo album correspondent.
There you go.
Grant Sharpless recommended "Any Shape You Take" by Indigo D'Souza. Wow, like,
oh my god, it's so good.
This album's incredible.
Who put Hold Up on our podcast before, though?
What do you mean?
One of us chose a song from this album because it was on our podcast already, and I don't know who.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had one. I'm pretty sure it's called Hold Up. Oh, wait, maybe I chose that from last week. Okay.
Either way,
I think
this album is
our review.
Absolutely incredible.
Is this a group or is person? Who is it?
I don't know.
It sounded like one.
Sounded like one person. But
maybe it's like a band. Cool. Maybe I don't know.
They might have a band.
It was so good.
It's so good. Like, I was blown away.
It's like, how would you? It's not. It's like kind of pop, right? Like
it's like indie rock pop, indie rock.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I liked it a lot.
It's amazing. So, Any Shape You Take, Indigo D'Souza, check it out. Listen to our playlist. It'll be there.
Oh, quick plug. Oh, that did this for the week. No, go ahead and do our socials for us. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I mean, we got 97 at the 97 Demo everything. At the 97 Demo on Twitter, at the 97 Demo on Instagram. We have a newsletter at 97 Demo newsletter. Thanks for everybody that's reading it. Thanks for people that are signing up for the emails. Really appreciate that. We're having a lot of fun writing it and having another outlet to talk about music where we get to talk about basically anything we want. So next week we're gonna have, everybody knows, the boy. Yeah.
Let me just say,
the sixth
let
guy.
me just say on streaming platforms, that cover looks weird. Okay, because it
scares me. I tweeted that last night.
The certified lover boy.
Drizzy Drake is back. We are reviewing this long ass album also. It's an hour and 26 minutes. So
do y'all want to know what it feels like I'm doing? I'm taking off my Kanye stand hat and I'm like looking in my closet for my Drake stand hat.
Exactly. It's like
it's one of the best Drizzy albums in a minute.
And first of all, we all know you're not gonna say that. So
it is though.
It is though. I'm with you. But we'll talk about that a little more next week. So thanks everybody for listening, and yeah.
We'll see you next week.